Well, today I am going to follow up with something that I said on the last video. Hey, so today I'm going to follow up from the weekend video on what was said there. If you watch that video, you'll see that I was talking about how that God made sure that nobody believed so that he could have mercy upon all and redeem everybody through his son, Jesus Christ. Basically excluding everybody from his plan of salvation so that he could include all. And I did say that it was by Christ's obedience and his belief that all were saved, and not by any person's belief other than him. And Paul did say, and so did John, that nobody believed, and God made it that way. This was his plan all along, that yes, salvation would come by faith, but it would be the faith of God. It would be the faith of Christ. Paul talks about this a few times throughout the New Testament, about how he and we are saved by the faith of Christ, or by the faith of God. He says them both. And so it was by his belief and not any individual's belief. God, in effect, excluded all of humanity in order to include all of humanity in Christ's righteousness. He had to exclude us from the plan of salvation to include us in his righteousness. And the question always comes up about the belief issue, which I did address in the last video. So if you didn't see that, watch that. But John did quote Jesus talking about belief and a believer a lot in his gospel, in the book of John. And Jesus said some really interesting things, but he said he spoke in parables and riddles so that nobody would understand them, right? Well, there's a little bit of a clue there. See, leading up to the cross, this whole thing was still a mystery. The mystery was revealed in him at the cross, but leading up to it, it was a mystery. It was kept a secret. It was kept hidden. He said one major thing about the believer, and what that was he said, "He who believes, the works I do, he shall do also, and greater works shall he do, because I go to my Father in heaven." Now, throughout history, anybody who has claimed to believe in Christ, they don't do the works that he did, let alone greater works. And see, the operative phrase in there is greater works. Now, the Bible does say that Peter and Paul each did a couple things that Jesus did while he was walking this earth. But even then, they weren't greater works. Nobody has ever done greater works. Yet Jesus said he who believes would do greater works. And then we have Paul saying that we are not saved by our faith or our belief, but by the faith, the belief of God, by the faith of Christ. So, it's true. Jesus was actually talking about himself. We were saved by his belief, by his faith, by his obedience. And he did do the greater works. He didn't just heal a few people. He didn't raise a few people from the dead. He healed everyone from the scourge of sin and raised everyone to life and righteousness in him. He did truly do the greater works. Now, if you want to learn more about faith of Christ, because so many people have been taught about what the faith you're supposed to have, but Paul was more impressed with the faith of Christ. And he talked about that in his letter to the Galatians. So Mike teaches the entire book of Galatians, verse by verse, from beginning to end, and it's simply called Galatians by Mike Williams. And I am going to post a link to that below this video on YouTube, where you can download that teaching series. It's a must. So, yes, what I'm telling you is revolutionary, and yes, I want you to have a revolutionary week.